You don't quit because you're weak. You quit because you're tired of hurting. And if you're honest, you're not even quitting the goal. You're quitting the version of yourself you're afraid you can't become. Stay with me, because what I'm about to say might sting a little, but it might also free you. Every time you walk away from something hard, your brain keeps score, not publicly. Privately, you start. You feel motivated. You tell people about it. Then it gets uncomfortable. Results are slow. Doubt gets loud. You stop. And your brain doesn't just record the action. It records the pattern, and that pattern slowly becomes your identity. We don't finish. We lose steam. We're not consistent. That quiet story becomes the ceiling of your life. Not because it's true, but because it's repeated. Let's get honest. Nobody quits when it feels good. Nobody quits when progress is obvious. You quit in the middle, when results are invisible, when effort feels pointless, when nobody claps. That's the real test. And most men don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they're addicted to relief. The second discomfort rises, you reach for escape. Jor, pone, food, sleep, excuses. You don't have a motivation problem. You have a discomfort tolerance problem. The moment effort stops feeling rewarding, your brain starts negotiating. This isn't worth it. You've tried before. Maybe this just isn't you. That voice sounds logical. It's not logical. It's protective. Your brain is wired to conserve energy. Growth demands energy. So your mind pulls you back to what's familiar, even if what is familiar is mediocrity. Let me tell you something real. I committed to training every morning before work. First 2 weeks, locked in, disciplined, proud. Then the excitement faded. It was 5 a.m. cold. Dark. No one watching. No visible results. One morning, I hit snooze, and I remember staring at the ceiling thinking, here we go again. Just once turned into twice. Twice turned into a pattern. That's how quitting spreads. Not through collapse. Through small permissions. You don't destroy your identity overnight. You erode it. Every quit becomes proof. Proof shapes identity. Identity shapes behavior. And behavior builds your life. If you want to stop quitting, you don't need more hype. You need a new relationship with discomfort. Here's the shift. Grit is not intensity. It's staying when your emotions leave. Anyone can start strong. Very few can stay steady when it's boring, when it's repetitive, when it's invisible. You don't build grit on your best days. You build it on random Tuesdays when nothing feels special. On days you feel average, unseen, uninspired. That's where men separate. But let's be clear about something. There's a difference between quitting because it's uncomfortable and walking away because it's misaligned. If you leave growth because it's hard, that's avoidance. If you leave something that repeatedly destroys your dignity, your peace, your self-respect, that's wisdom. Some of you aren't quitting because you lack grit. You're exhausted from carrying goals that were never yours, trying to impress people who wouldn't trade places with you, chasing status instead of meaning, staying in rooms that shrink you. That's not discipline. That's fear disguised as loyalty. Real strength is knowing when to endure and when to release. Stay where growth lives. Leave where suffering repeats. Now let's get practical. If you want to stop quitting, shrink the commitment. Most men don't fail because they aim too low. They fail because they try to reinvent themselves overnight. All in, no days off. New life starting Monday. That works. Until reality hits. Instead, commit to something so small, your excuses sound stupid. 10 push-ups. 10 minutes. 1 page. 1 uncomfortable conversation. Small enough to repeat. Small enough to win daily. Consistency beats intensity every time. Second, separate emotion from action. You are allowed to feel tired, frustrated, doubtful. You are not allowed to lower your standards because of it. Feelings are weather. Standards are structure. Operate from structure, not mood. Third, collect undeniable proof. Every time you follow through when it's inconvenient, you gather evidence. Evidence rewires identity, and identity drives behavior. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your standards. So act like the man you're trying to become before you feel like him. Pause, erri. This is where most men agree. Feel inspired and change nothing. Don't be that guy. Picture two futures. First future. You keep negotiating with discomfort. You start, you stop, you restart. You repeat. A year passes. You look the same, earn tisam, feel tisam. But you're lower, more fragile. Now the second future. You stop quitting small promises. You don't become extreme, you become reliable. You show up when it's boring, when it's quiet. When no one notices a year passes, your body changes. Your confidence stabilizes. Your bank account stops stressing you out. Your word actually means something, not because you felt motivated, because you endured discomfort without negotiating your standards. That's grit. But remember this, grit is not self-destruction. If something consistently crushes your health, your integrity, your peace, letting go is not quitting, it's recalibrating. Strength without awareness becomes stubbornness. Awareness without action becomes weakness. You need but. So, here's your move. Find one area where you've been quitting because it is uncomfort. Recommit. Smaller, smarter, steadier. And find one area where you've been staying out of fear. Be brutally honest about whether it's growth or just suffering. Make a decision. Not tomorrow. Now. Before you leave, comment one word. Unbreakable. Not as motivation, as identity. And send this to a man who keeps doubting himself. Most men don't need more inspiration. They need higher standards. If you're done being the guy who almost follows through and ready to become the man who finishes, subscribe to Mindshift Stories. We're not here for hype. We're here for execution. Winners aren't the most talented. They're the ones who stay. Decide who you are. I'll see you in the next one.